Cornucopias is a cutting-edge open-world MMO set in a world where humanity has ascended from the Earth's surface and created a breathtaking new world in the sky. This fantastical realm is a system of floating islands carved from the land we once called home, now encased in radically advanced dome-shaped structures suspended high above the clouds. Each one is a futuristic marvel with its own unique environment, identity, and thriving communities. It is within these domes the epic journey begins. Here, players take control of their own personal avatar, which gives them the freedom to choose their destiny. Be immersed in vast landscapes, explore vibrant settlements, and engage in a myriad of activities such as crafting, commerce, combat, racing, and more. Welcome to a world where the sky is no longer the limit.
Hey everybody, welcome to Copi Cafe. This is episode number 95. You got Rob Gregg here and Josh Jones, and we have some fun stuff to talk about today and a fun special guest that you have never met before. So I'm excited to introduce her and to all of you guys in our community. And thanks so much again for following us and keeping up with what we're doing. Copi Cafe is all about just being transparent with you guys all along the way, what we're building, how we're building it, just giving you as much details as we go as we're building this together. So that's fun. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about a little the Nodes Reward Calculator, a little demo on that. Many of you might have already seen that. Got an update on the builds process in the back end that many of you don't really know much about, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. The land rewards, and not too much detail there, but just a little update. And then we've got our special guest and a question and a leak. So here we go. Let's get started. Rob, what are you drinking today, sir?
Bonjour. Today I have café au lait without the cafe. Don't know why I started speaking French. I'm not very good at speaking French. Who knows?
There's no way that anyone is going to win that guessing bet today.
No. What are you drinking, Josh?
I looked in my fridge and I saw a drink that I haven't seen in a long time or had in a long time. And I know that I've never had it on Copi Cafe. So.
Is it? No.
It's the Olipop classic.
Olipop?
Grape. Olipop.
That's classic.
It is classic. It's
You've
classic
lost an L.
grape. Huh? It's got probiotics, botanicals, and plant fiber.
Does it come in a version where there's like a stick and you can lick it?
No.
Okay.
No. Don't do that while I'm taking a sip. Could have a coughing fit. All right. So, first up, the Nodes Rewards Calculator. You want to bring that up and demo our magic? You first, for some context for the community, Rob came up with a little proof of concept via some chat GPT, quickly coded up a Nodes Rewards Calculator, and then showed it to me. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Let's get that over to marketing so that people can understand all of this. And then Jeff and Michael put this together. And it now currently it updates so that we've gone up one node since our last meeting, Rob. Somebody bought a node. It was at 7867. When you open this page, it shows you exactly how many nodes have been sold, but then you can move that slider. So the slider node sold allows you to move it. But okay, Rob, introduce us to this sweet little baby here.
Yeah, I don't know what it'll be like, what number it'll be on when we when the show goes live. But yeah, this is an example of ChatGPT 4.0, what it built with me in an hour. I mean, it built it pretty quickly, and then I just kind of tinkered with it. And I just thought it'd be useful because I was working out, right, so if we have so many nodes, then what will that be? Daily rewards, annual rewards? What if there's only 75% participating? And all those kind of options. And it just, it felt like it would be fun, and it was, and actually it turned out to be really useful. So the idea of this is depending on what you can kind of estimate, and it's full of disclaimers because the way the rewards work is for the first year we've allocated 26 million Copi tokens for all the active node runners. So that's whether you're an actual node pool operator or whether you're a delegate. And we've explained that in last week's episode, and we have node decks if you want to go and have a look at the difference between a technical and a non-technical worker. So the way that works is every day the nodes are distributed depending on how many are active. And what this calculator allows you to do is kind of guesstimate on average how many active are maybe for a year or for a day, and depending on the number of nodes that have been sold and how many nodes you own. So that's one part of it. And the top part will demonstrate the node rewards, whether you are a node pool operator or a future delegate. So these are applicable for everyone who runs a node that is active. And then the bottom part, that will show the node pool operators the additional rewards that they can get if somebody delegates to them. So for every one of their nodes that they have, that gives you the ability to have up to 4 different delegates. So in an example where you have 10 nodes, which gives you 40 delegates, if you have a maximum of 40, what we're doing to begin with is giving you 1 Copi per node one Copi per node per day, which is 14,600 Copi per year if all of your nodes are active daily for that entire year. So that's how that works, and that's in addition to the rewards that you have. So that's what the calculator is all about.
It's great. I think it's a fantastic tool for people to get a general idea of what they can do. And I say general idea intentionally because as this progresses, when we move into phase 2 and phase 3 of the node system, the rewards will be dependent upon the actual node being up and running and providing service. So there's going to be an algorithm that calculates what was the uptime, how much data was served, these sorts of things that goes into play. And so over time, that will just gradually change, and it becomes very hard to estimate. But in a perfect world, that's how, if you were perfectly up and perfectly, your node was operating perfectly, then this is a good idea of what you would earn from that. But the pool doesn't change. The amount of Copi that Cornucopias has designated to pay you guys for providing our rewards infrastructure, that doesn't change. It's just the variables behind how it's calculated. So anyway, this is a great tool for you guys to use, and good job in creating that. Good job to Jeff and Michael.
And we spoke to Jeff earlier this week, so we do have a bit of a leak. Actually, we might have to cut this out. But what Jeff has said, because the system at the moment, we're currently testing on Linux and Windows. So we all know that. I'm currently running 3 on Windows. And timing wise, obviously on the 1st of July, we will distribute the NFTs and then everybody will register them. So what we've agreed with Jeff, the way he wants to work phase 1, is that everybody who registers within that first month, so the entirety of July, you will be given full rewards. So phase 1, where all you have to do is register, will last the entirety of July. If in that time you sell those NFTs, then those rewards will go to whoever buys that NFT and registers within that first month. So you can't just buy it.
So the NFTs will be delivered on July 1st as promised, and the pay period begins as promised on July 1st.
Yes.
But then the pay will be claimable at the end of that period.
Yeah. And remember, you have to have the correct amount of Copi in your wallet.
and you have to have that, and you also have to have your nodes registered, which means setting
just
up an
registered.
account.
Yeah. So you're not downloading any software. You're not doing anything. All you're doing is registering. So that should be nice and simple for
Yeah.
everyone, really.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. Well, that brings us to the next topic, which is the automated builds. So Jeff informed us in our one-to-one with Zach this morning that the automated builds has been complete. They've actually used it, and it's going really well. And for those of you that don't know what that is, on the back end, every time we do a new game release, which has sometimes been once every other month or once a month, more in the future will be less frequent because there's so much that goes into that each time. A lot of debugging, a lot of prep work, a lot of team time. So the we can go faster the less builds we do, but it also matters that we're getting the community new content. So there's a balance there in determining a cadence and keeping people entertained and all of that. So we have to find that balance. But each time a build is done, somebody has to spend time manually doing this. Prior to this automated build, somebody has to spend time manually doing it. It takes them away from being able to utilize their computer during that time period, I believe. And this has just created a lot of efficiencies, which allows them to keep working. The build can start. It's getting built behind the scenes. And I think it's a huge efficiency for us. It creates more time and maximizes the potential of what those team members that were involved in that could be working on while the build is happening in the background. Pretty cool. I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
Yeah, very slick. And it's also, we've integrated, well, Jeff's integrated it into our internal Discord as well. So when those builds finish, a little message pops into Discord.
Right, we get a message in the system.
That's slick.
Which is great. Okay, so next topic is the land rewards deck. We have that coming out soon. That's in process. I think we might have mentioned it last week, but just to mention that again, we're very close to publishing that, which will let you guys know what kind of rewards potential there is for getting into Cornucopias and providing that infrastructure of your land. What do you get rewarded with, and how does that work? And so that deck is, I think it's been passed off. It's been approved by everybody in terms of the content, but it's now been passed off to Mark to do a design on it and make it match our branding and stuff like that. So it might be out by next week, I would imagine. I don't want to.
It'll tell you about the rarity implications beyond what once you've chosen your land, how rarity affects the land. It'll tell landowners how they're actually going to earn the rewards, how all that thing works.
Yep. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm glad we're at this stage where people are about to start receiving nodes rewards and land rewards and just getting massive new exposure to the game. The infrastructure is at a place now where we're basically this next build testing the infrastructure in such a way that when we've debugged that, and the infrastructure I'm talking about is the Amazon, the hosting, the manuals, the scaling of Cornucopia servers that allows for millions of players to play the game.
Yep.
We're going to have some pretty robust, sophisticated, our proprietary, exactly what we needed, because we needed different server types for racing than for an ongoing instance, for example. So,
and AWS have been super helpful with us. They're really responsive.
Oh, they've been great. And actually, we talked about having them on the show to discuss what our partnership with them has been like, and how helpful they've been, and just to talk about what they're doing. So we can have them on Copi Cafe when the time is right. I think I mentioned that to them and they were willing, but we'll do that when we're ready.
We're getting Jeff on.
Yeah, we should probably get Jeff on. I think there's quite a few people we still need to get on.
You know which Jeff I'm talking about, though?
I guess not.
Well, you just I thought we were talking about Jeff Bezos. Are we not talking about getting Amazon?
Nice one. Yeah, I'll just give him a call real quick.
We
Actually,
can
you
get
know
our
what? I'm going
Jeff
to
on
text
as
him.
well.
I'm going to text him. See what
I've
he's
got
up to.
Prime, so I
He
mean,
might be able to jump on right now.
yeah. Well, probably tomorrow. It's next day.
Where's he at?
I
No,
don't know.
he's in Austin right now.
He's
He
everywhere. He's
just
in the
flew
cloud.
in.
He
We're
lives
going
in
to
it.
have a meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Far enough with that nonsense. Okay. The land rewards, that's an exciting thing. And just to be able to deliver on the land and get people into Solace running around is, man, that's a big milestone because a
Yeah.
lot's gone into it.
The team are currently hand placing all the land plots. I've seen a lot of chatter in Discord, so we've got some questions that I haven't managed to pull out, but I'll talk through them anyway. All the land plots are being placed by hand. We've placed everything by hand. We have. We'll talk about that pretty
We haven't
soon.
placed everything.
No, but they're placed. So there's 8 of the 24,000 land plots. 8,000 of them belong to Solace, as in Solace 1, 2, or 3. All those 8,000 are being placed by hand in all those 3 zones. That we are well on with that at the moment. So that's an exciting and labor intensive
property selection, town building,
Mm-hmm.
spacing out the towns and the districts and all the good things that are to come that gives it a very unique gameplay scenario.
This is world
exciting
building.
place to be, which actually leads us to our next topic, which is that we have a very special guest here today with us that you guys have not yet met. So let's get Catherine up. Catherine, how you doing?
Hello there.
Really happy to be here.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. It's great to have you. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
Well, I am a environment artist. I was previously working in cinema. My last project was a short film for Disney, which was a big challenge, but a lot of fun and learning too. And after that, that led me here, which is a big switch to games, and I really enjoy it.
Well,
Nice.
Disney's pretty quality, so that's pretty strong story about your background, obviously.
Yeah, and if you want even more specific but funny, it was my also one of my first big project. Uh, so it was a lot of pressure, and they are very picky on details. So but I think it's training us to have an
Yeah.
eye for this, and
Yeah.
I still have that eye with me for you now.
Yeah. Good. Good. You didn't
Are
just
they-
leave it behind.
Are they
Yeah.
trickier to work for than David?
And David is really the person that's make our life here more simple.
Yeah.
So that's also a really nice.
And I have a really important question for you. What are you drinking today, Catherine?
Well, I thought I would bring something adequate, so I'm drinking a Canada Dry,
Canada
Oh,
Dry.
the raspberry
Interesting.
lemonade edition for the summer.
which
For-
actually brings me to our next question. That looks good and refreshing, Catherine. You're from, where are you from? I hear a little bit of an accent.
J'habite au Québec.
Excuse you?
Donc, techniquement, l'anglais, c'est pas vraiment ma première langue. Donc, excusez-moi
Ah,
si je
oui,
la
oui.
massacre un peu.
Oui,
So,
oui.
yeah. Oui, croissant, they say.
That is a coincidence because I did have croissants for my breakfast.
And you did speak French a bit too at the beginning. That
Oui,
was
oui.
not bad, actually.
I think
I
the only
don't
thing I know
have
is
the cafe
oui and
bit. I have the
parlez-vous français.
Olay
Parlez-vous
with milk.
français?
Yes, and it's really funny because it's not the France French. So it's also another type of French. So
Oh,
it's another accent
a
entirely.
sub-dialect? Okay, gotcha. Well, I think that's unique to mention just because of how our team is built. You know, we had Tobias up recently, Toby, and he's from Germany. And, you know, we've got people from all over the world. And it's enabled us to build a really talented team very quickly. And so that's been the advantage of that. But it's also created a very diverse team with a lot of cultural diversity, which I think is awesome because you get these very unique perspectives coming into play. So it's great to have you. And Good to have you on Copi Cafe and finally get to introduce you to our community.
Thank you very
But
much. And
we have a few community members actually from Canada, and I know we've met Linda a few times. She'll be very pleased to see you on the show.
oh,
That's true.
it's a good place to be. But another thing I found nice to be multi places people is that we also have different way of working, way of approaching things. So it's making the team being more strong because we're all so different. So
Yeah.
it's another great thing I found here.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, because everybody's is obviously different cultures, different backgrounds, different inspirations. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was what types of games that do you play, and do they inspire you with your job?
Well, I always been a gamer. Even before I worked in 3D, I was doing a lot of artsy painting, sculpting, stuff like that with more traditional jobs, and gaming on the side. So 3D for me was really a revelation. But I really like survival games or open world games where you have to discover places. Like there's nothing I like more than discovering a place I like in a game and having the wow moment, the I have
Mhm.
to pause one, or I want to take a screenshot moment.
Oh,
So that's what I'm trying to bring when I'm creating something, because that's what I like in game too, being
have
lost in another world.
have you have you created any of those wow moments for us?
I try, and I bring some with me for you today.
Wow, perfect.
Oh, good, good, good.
Because I listen to a lot of Copy Cafe, and I know people like leaks. So
They do like the leaks.
so why not having some with me today?
So
Some example.
before we get on to your leaks, so how long have you been with us then?
I'm with you since maybe 4 months now,
Okay.
and honestly, time went fly by. Sorry,
Yeah.
I lost my word because we have a lot to do, and
Yeah.
but that's also a great thing. I like to be challenged, and I like to do stuff. So I did a lot of Solace 3 at the beginning, and now I'm giving some love to Solace 1.
All right. Well, how have you liked it so far?
I really enjoyed the forward pipeline. Everywhere where I worked before, it was almost all the time a lot of problem with communication, broken pipeline, things that were making losing time to artists. So it's really easier for me to create and um, go fast but still with good quality, with something that don't broke every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think they really made a great job to pad the way for us, so now we can just create and don't think too much of what is going on the more technical side of it.
I think that's
Or
I mean, that's really important because that's what we've been saying. You know, we took our time. David took his time on Solace One, and he talked a lot about the pipeline and how we're after Solace One's going to take its time, and then we're quickly going to be able to do Solace Two, Solace Three, Esperanza One, Two, and Three. So you know, it's good to hear from behind the scenes that that plan is actually working.
and I think
Yeah.
it's still going to be like there's not a day where there's not something new that will help us,
Yeah,
a new step, a new thing that will make things easier. So
we're constantly learning and
yes, exactly, all
evolving.
along. Yeah.
Learning and improving. And I think it's huge because having these workflows in place and being organized allows for a team of environment artists to work together. And it really sped up the production of Solace
Yes, and if you want
remarkably.
to place something by hand, we want to place everything by hand. Yes, it's feasible, but it would not be with a pipeline that was not that strong. It would be impossible.
Yeah.
So the
So your
only
previous,
reason we can is that.
So you created the tools. So you started. I think you started then when we had the because we were at that point when we were ready to do that next level of expansion. I think you started maybe with another 6 or 7 different
Yes.
people, aren't you? So
Yes,
that must
exactly.
have been really strange to and strange for us to take on that many people so quick.
For me, it was also funny because I came on, and my first training that I had with David was the last day before his vacation.
Oh yeah,
So I did 3 hours of training and let's go trial by fire.
straight
So
in the deep end. We love it.
yeah, that was a very an experience.
Well, it's good to know that you came into a fairly organized process after that, and that we've got efficient systems for moving into Esperanza, which is
Yes.
coming up next.
Even better than Solace. I think it will be even more organized because it's starting from a point where we know much better what we need and don't need to do.
When you
Yeah.
say better, you mean better to develop,
In terms of time
not better
management
looking.
and
It's not
development.
necessarily
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. More
Yeah.
in management.
Yeah. Okay.
Efficiency.
I think I'll always love Solace in a special place since I began
Yeah.
on it.
Same for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue. I think it's probably a good time to get you to bring up, unless Rob, did you have anything else before we
No, I want to
bring
see
up
these
some
leaks.
So let me share my screen. I have brought you few images of the things I did recently. So I took what was already done in Solace and I tried to just pimp a little bit some emplacement and make them in more depth. I created for a few sinkholes, tunnels. I really wanted the player to have special place to visit that they will remember. So that was
So
my goal.
So
what
this is
part of
somewhat
this
based upon
did?
your experience
Yeah.
with the games that you play, right? The question Rob asked you a while back.
Yes, because since when I play, that's what I'm looking for, and I know there's a lot of type of gamer, and nobody will want the same thing. But for the people that are like me, I wanted to have them places where they would be surprised, or they will have to look a bit for it. That, for an example,
Hmm.
this area here, if you want to go in the sinkhole that it's leading to, you have to
Oh.
find the entrance, and it's a bit hidden, so
So
you
so
have to search a bit.
so as an environment artist, then, so do you take the artwork that other team members have made and you what do you do? So when I'm looking at this, what did you do?
It's always depending on what we have to do. Let's say at the when I was on Solace 3, we were making bugs from from scratch,
Right.
so it's different from what I did in the past week. Um, but let's say for I wanted to make a new sinkhole in Solace 1 that is pretty advanced. uh, I will have to scratch the area I want to make it and start brand new because I don't want, if I just modify the landscape and just move around, I'm risking error, a log in the air, and
Right.
those kind of things we want to avoid. We place things by hand for that reason. So I prefer to have a clean slate just for the area I'm working on and rebuild it from scratch. So what you see is all made by me. It was nothing.
You carved all the holes and you put the artwork in. How do
Yes.
you know the scale? How do you know what a sinkhole looks like?
It's a mix of I chatted with David too to have some reference from real life places because in Canada we don't have that here.
Right.
So we chatted and exchanged from real life images, and I have a pretty good photographic memory, so I'm pretty good at replicating things that I've saw. So I tried to do that. And if you let me move on to the next images,
Of
I have a
course.
point to make
Yeah.
for that.
Where is this cave heading? Ooh,
If you see at the right, you have the entrance of the cave we
the bottom
were
right. Yeah.
just a second ago. So if you see, all the places around that sinkhole are unreachable. The only way in or out is the tunnel. So for exiting, it's easy. It's the only way. But to enter it, like I said, you have to look for it. It's a bit hidden. So I wanted to create some fun too, some challenging
Yeah.
places to go.
Why would we go in there?
Fishing?
Maybe fishing. Maybe
Ooh.
there'll be something hidden somewhere and you don't see, but there's a waterfall too. So
Oh,
Oh,
a lot of small surprise. Even with leaks, we wanted to keep some
which
surprise.
box
yeah.
is this in of the 36?
By heart, I'm not sure. I did
Yeah,
so many in last
Don't
week.
be clue. Rob's trying to give another lead.
yeah. I want a shortcut, but
Actually, we're not going
I
to
can
show the
see
map
the.
of the
I'll have to.
36 anyway.
Yeah, but and I tried to. That's another point. It's very interesting that what you just said. I really tried to space everything.
Right.
So in the entire Solace one, I don't want to have three sinkhole really close and nothing in the rest. So they are pretty spread out all around the map. So you have few of them in a lot of places, and they are all different. And they have caves, maybe they have other surprise.
This makes it even, but it's not just that surface. There's under the surface as well.
Yes,
There's
I wanted to create really deepness because we have so much wonderful landscape, but I really wanted to create deepness
yeah.
and a bit like David showed is a deep forest core that he made, a bit like that sense where you're really lost and you cannot see the town that is maybe near, but you're in nature.
And this is not a mine, is it? This isn't. This is something
No,
else. This is an
no,
addition.
this is not a mine. This is really just maybe it will be used for fishing and things like that
It's
for
a
the future,
special
but
attraction for
yeah.
sure. It's got to
I
be.
I'm
call them point of interest
yeah.
Yeah.
when I do them because it's like really it's more plays that player can share. Oh look, I found this
Yeah.
waterfall hidden. Look, found this cave hidden.
Yeah.
Those
You
kind of
discover a beautiful
yeah.
view in a new setting and it gives you a new enjoyment of the game.
Yes, and I'm really big on taking screenshots and beautiful scenery on games, so I really wanted to try to create nice composition too if players are attracted to that also.
So it reminds me of. Have you seen the film The Goonies, where they go in one of these kind of caves and
I
there's like
was really
pirate ship?
young when I did, but yes. But yeah, it's always trying to balance having a fun time with having a little pause moment that we
Hmm.
want. And
Yeah. It's
some
great.
and if you asked me earlier, I'm moving images. How do I approach things? How do I create things from scratch? This one, for example, started as a joke.
Okay.
David was making some conversation on what we want, and he sent me pictures but drawing and painting of scenery he likes. And we have one that looked like this, but not in a Solace version. And without telling him, I took it and I made it. And I just told him, see, I can make it in Solace. We have a version of it now. So sometimes it's just fun and it leads to very nice things that you did not expect or would not have created. It's just to find the inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is
It's
that?
actually accurate geologically
Mhm.
with what happens in a mountainous terrain. So you guys studied some of that, right?
Yes, we look at a lot of images, video of geologists and people that goes to places to just look at how it will behave in nature and try to
Hmm.
replicate the best we can. Yes.
Those are
And
really thick forests as well.
yes, and another thing we have that is not shown in a screenshot, but that in the game player will see, is that even if the player would be to stand here, because the image you see now is quite similar to a point of view the player can have. You have a path, maybe just a bit down. The player could have this view for real. I have a path that goes up. But if the player stand there, you'll have maybe cloud, sunny, dusk, down.
Mhm.
The It's always moving, so it's always giving another vibe. It's never the same.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah,
amazing.
I definitely love that about this and Unreal Engine, and that we've capitalized on the weather systems and the day and night cycle to create a new look and feel. It's powerful in that regard.
And it's more immersive for the player too, to have a
Yeah.
surprise fog that comes and all
Yeah, the
those
fog.
details. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those so
It's
we
really
showed
beautiful.
it is. We showed some of that from Toby in the Copi Cafe with the new water tech, which I think has even gone quite a bit, a few steps further. But we showed some of those foggy shots that he had created, and it just that creates a powerful mystic kind of element.
Yes, it's really changing the mood, and the weather is really, it's really like in real life. You could be, uh, even me when I work in a place, I could be placing flowers, let's say in a field, and suddenly it's cloudy and
Yeah.
it's under my head. I have to wait or move on. So
Yeah,
it's really, it's really special and realistic in that sense.
it is in Colorado when I've gone fly fishing on several different trips. That early morning arrival to the fishing spot and the drive to the fishing spot, it's often filled with fog. I don't know why that is, but there's an early morning kind of fog experience, which is pretty cool to be able to have that. But either way, is this the last image you were going to show,
I
or
have one last more
no?
that
No,
is a bit
great, let's do.
different. Um, and that is also there for a purpose.
Okay.
Um, I bring this one, which is a more close-up one of a deep forest that you may already have seen, but um, I really wanted to show that even with Esperanza being worked on and we are moving on to new things, we still give new assets, new love, and new details to Solace. So they are really, really up to the quality we want at the release. So on this, we added some roots that we were not having before. We have some new moss asset too. So it's really, it's getting more and more to a very, very realistic point.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
the tree
it's
roots and the moss. Those roots look amazing, just dangling
they
there.
do.
Yes, and they
That's
are
not a
added
tree
now in
floating.
Solace, so it will be a natural thing
Everyone's
that
going to
you
get
will see
lost.
and encounter now.
So in certain places, you'll see these root systems, and I'm also noticing the fallen trees. We've seen those before, but it's great that we have that because that adds that another layer of realism. You don't walk through a forest like this without seeing a fallen tree. It just doesn't.
Especially a deep forest
Yeah,
that can
yeah.
be a lot of them
Yeah.
that we've seen with David. But yeah, it's always we try it to make it the more beautiful possible, and it's edited in a very, very nice way.
Well done. Very well done. I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you very much. I think everyone is really happy to work hard here because we know the
Well, you
end
know what?
goal.
That was one other thing I don't think we talked about. You talked a little bit about one thing that you love about Cornucopias so far was the workflows and the organizational side. But what about the culture? How do you feel about the people and just the team you're working with and David, all of that?
Sorry.
You're good.
I was really surprised on how everyone is driven by passion here, and I think that's the biggest difference point. David know how to choose people that really cares about the project, and
Mm.
that is making a team really strong. There's not one person here that is not really trusting of the process and the project, and I feel that it's a really positive culture too. And even if in the workspace, in the more when we do reviews and things like that, it's always for everyone, it's always accompanied with positive. And it's not like that everywhere, but it should.
That's great to hear. And actually, on so many levels, because just starting off with beginning conversations with Rob and myself, the idea was in building the team that we bring on people that are passionate about what they do. That's always been what matters. You know, like, is your skill set there? Great, but that's not all. Are you a cultural fit and are you passionate about what you do? And I'm glad to hear that David's carried that out. And I'm glad to hear that that's what you've experienced as a team member, that you're seeing that in others, because that creates inspired workforce, like an inspired team together. And I think that's a very powerful thing.
Yes, and skill can be learned, not passion.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's
You're
another
right.
thing.
That's a good
Yeah,
quote.
you could be highly skilled and can't stand your work,
Yeah.
and that shows, and it affects everyone else around you, and that kind of thing is just a bummer. So it's good to hear you say that, and really good to hear you have you on the team. I believe even since you started here, you were responsible for talking with somebody else that was deciding whether or not they wanted to join us.
Yes, I had the opportunity to speak with someone that uh, wanted some information from the inside, let's
Yeah,
say, on how it is. And it was really easy for me, honestly, to say that it's very a positive experience. And it is all from two standpoint. The work is really nicer to do since we don't encounter problem, and if we do, we have a solution real quick. And also the mood here, that is really more family and everything. And I think it's precious, especially in these days.
I can't. Yeah, seriously, I couldn't hear something sweeter or more positive
Yeah.
about the culture that we are building and trying to be intentional about creating. Because we want people to really love what they do here and love the team. And that's hard to maintain the bigger you get and as things go. And so we may not try to get huge in terms of size. We want to maintain a productive level and a family feel as much as we can, but also we have a large vision to deliver on. So we'll see how that goes, but
but but
we're definitely
passionate
very conscious.
people will give you more, so it
Yeah.
will be easy to do a lot with less people than if you have
Yep.
the big team that don't care, let's say. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really nice here that everyone has trust and really love for the project.
Well, thank you very much, Catherine.
Thank you for
Rob, do
having
you?
me here too.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a pleasure. Rob, did you have any other final questions for Catherine before we?
N- no, it's just really good to hear. Like you say, as we're growing, we actually become more and more removed from some of the newer people. We meet Catherine in our weekly meetings, but we've never actually spoken at length. This is the first time. So I mean, it was great to meet you. We'll definitely have you on in say 6 months, and hopefully you still feel the same way.
Probably will.
Agreed. Well, open line of communication. You're always welcome to reach out to us, and we're very thankful for you joining. Thanks for coming on your first Copi Cafe. You did great, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for having me. Having
Uh,
a nice day.
you too. Bye
Bye
bye,
bye.
Catherine. Okay, Rob, we are on to the next segment of the episode. I think we have a leak on the Node dashboard, which I'll try to bring that up here real quick. Let's see here. So here's our leak for today.
Oh,
This is the Node reward dashboard. It's in development. This is not necessarily in final stages, as we're always making tweaks and refinements and changes, but you can see it gives us a lot of information for our node holders. Your Copi balance, which is important because you have to have 3,000 Copi for each node you run, up to 5, and then that's the maximum. Is that correct? So 15. If you have 5 nodes or more, you just have to have 15,000 Copi in your wallet to qualify for the rewards. But
yeah.
we've got total number of nodes and registered nodes. So those are two important numbers, because if you have 10 nodes, but only 2 are registered, well, that's 8 that aren't qualifying, and registration is pretty simple.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how registration is going to work, but that definitely indicates that something's not right there. But yeah, this looks great. Any comments from you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, this is how it works. You will connect your wallets or connect more wallets, and press the register button. It should be as simple as that, and then you will receive rewards.
Yeah, and by the nodes registration process, obviously pressing the register button, but then there's getting to the, I guess you've already created your player account on the Cornucopias website, and then you're going to need to navigate to this page and click the button, but it'll be super simple for the most part.
And this will be a mixture of whether it's a Cardano node or a base node. It'll be the same.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. And I think it's a good point to remind everybody. I think we've got, by Friday when this is released, we'll have had maybe 17 days left to purchase nodes. So the clock is ticking before we pause. And again, to remind everyone, the reason for the pause in the node sale or stop for a period is so that we can deliver everyone's NFTs, their node NFTs, and start testing and paying out rewards and further developing our node technology. You can only do so much with your internal testing team until you need to make it public and see how things are going. So that's one of the reasons. But the other is to get the NFTs in your hands. A lot of other nodes projects have kept people from actually receiving those NFTs or those rewards for a long time while the sale is still ongoing. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to start getting you guys involved sooner, getting you paid rewards sooner. So this is why we're doing that. And then at a later date, we will reopen the sale, but really exciting. So short amount of time left to buy nodes. Please get in there and grab them. If you get the chance, just go to our website, click on the slider there that talks about nodes, and that'll lead you in the right direction. And that's a good place for us to wrap it up for Copi Cafe, episode 95.
One last thing.
Thank you all. Wait, what? You have one more thing?
One last thing.
Sure.
David we talk a lot about pipelines. David has a pipeline of team members that he wants to come on Copi Cafe. So over the next few weeks, you'll see more and more of our team.
Yes, absolutely. And we have other plans for Copi Cafe as well as getting external speakers to come in to introduce what we're doing to new communities and also introduce other influencers or games or, whatever it may be in the space.
It's important to see that, we talk about having 53 team members. You'll get to see quite a lot of them. They really do exist.
The ones that are comfortable coming on the show and that sort of thing. So that makes sense to introduce in Copi Cafe. All right. Yeah, that's a good point and a good leaks. And thank you all for watching. As always, this has been Copi Cafe, episode number 95, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't care what you say.